Undercover Tyrone is a sci-fi comedy movie set to the black 70s aesthetic, where our main character, with his band of generic black characters, has to fight the man. Together, they discover that the man is using chicken to control black people. After a few eggplant jokes, the crew ends up infiltrating the lab, destroying everything, and saving the day. Ish. Rating each movie out of 10, Undercover Brother was the better movie. It was more fun, and I could see everything. Unlike They Clone Tyrone, which had no business being that long, especially with this lighting. However, the best part of both movies were the conspiracy theory brothers.
Did y'all know that George Washington Carver made the first computer out of a peanut? A peanut!
We've all been around people that believe in some out-of-pocket things. Sometimes it's entertaining.
The message of the movement is essentially to spread awareness that from 1959 through 2001, the government mercilessly generated over 12 billion birds and simultaneously replaced them with surveillance drones in disguise.
Sometimes it's worrying, but it's even more terrifying when they're right. As I watch these movies back to back,
I started thinking to myself, man,
is the man really trying to use chicken to destroy black people?
Tried my hardest to speak out against this CIA psyop to destroy the black community.
Pause. If you have no idea what I mean by the man, I know what you are. But I won't leave you in the dark. You can check out my previous video, Why Do Black Actors Wear Dresses, where I talk about hegemonic masculinity. Okay, back to the fried chicken conspiracy.
After informing the public that Popeyes was a branch of the CIA and that every time they want to distract us from leading an important news, they drop a limited edition chicken sandwich.
You think that this is bad for the black community? Absolutely. You see how many people out here? I mean, it's more than black people out here, but if you look at the majority, people was out here from 8 a.m. I got here at 10:10. They gave us orange wristbands on our black skin. What's the colors of jumpsuit in jail? Orange.
That's the movie! Just let Popeyes got the good Don Julio and Popeyes collab!
And what do they mean, apparel? They gave him drip, Popeyes and Don Julio drip? This is absurd.
Listen to your African stud cousin when I tell you this. The man is trying to use chicken to destroy you. I know this because he did the same thing to us. But African stud cousin, everybody loves chicken. I know everybody likes chicken. Well, except Thomas Jefferson's concubine.
Chicken, i.e. the dirty bird, is a traumatized bird that we're putting in our bodies, and no thank you. I may absorb that trauma.
I know all races of humans have had a close relationship with chickens since, well, before Jesus. Which means just like they used Jesus, the man found a way to weaponize chicken against black people. Food and Jesus have always been the weapon of the man. To get in, he uses Jesus. Then to take everything, he uses food. I'm not going to touch the Jesus stuff, but let me get into the food part. Back in the day, in Africa, you lived in a community with a chief as the head. Occasionally, you would pay tribute, or taxes, to the chief as appreciation for looking after everybody and protecting the land. This is usually like crops, gold, or livestock. After the man, quote-unquote, bought land from the chief, I don't want to get into that, the people who lived on the land just figured they would give their tributes to the man instead. When the man comes knocking asking for the hut tax, they try to give him stuff like they used to with the chief, but the man is too civilized for this backwards barter trade shit. He only wants cash, specifically cash from his country. The fuck were they supposed to get that? From the man, duh. They tried to fight this ridiculousness, but Whitey don't care. He would burn everything down to the ground, driving entire communities to starvation for his taxes. The best option is to sell yourself on a subscription basis, i.e. work for the man. Now, they couldn't spend as much time farming like they used to, and most of their land that they would have used for farming was being used to grow cash crops instead, basically creating food deserts. To this day, because the man keeps flooding the market with his subsidized horrible frozen chicken, which undercuts African farmers, EU chicken is still cheaper than a local chicken in Africa. Why am I telling you all this? I want you to see the similarities between how they did us and how they're doing you. Your ancestors mastered the art of seasoning and frying chicken, so much so that when they got their freedom, many of them used these skills to finance their livelihoods and revolutions. Black people were able to run chicken shops and sell chicken by the trains, increasing the popularity of chicken and the money circulating in the black community. You know how the man gets when you start engaging in economic activity that cuts him out? he will burn everything to the ground to force you back into his system. So for a while, the man ran campaigns to ruin the relationship between black people and chicken, showing it in minstrel shows to showcase the gluttony and uncivilized behavior of these blacks. All that took a turn the moment the man figured out how to get a slice of that pie, or in this case, that thigh. Yeah, I know. Anyway, the man started fast food empires that excluded black people from owning franchises, but overly invested in building in black communities. The black chicken shop owners couldn't compete with that level of capital and privilege.
Mahalia's prices were low, but they couldn't compete with KFC. Claimed Hooks, who would be the first black person appointed to the FCC by Nixon, he saw long-haired brothers with their hands up in a black power salute, shuffling right on to Colonel Sanders.
So many of them had to close down and end up working for the man anyway. You know, selling themselves on that subscription basis. After a long day, the most accessible food in their neighborhood is fried chicken. Because of that overinvestment in the black neighborhoods we were talking about, creating those food deserts. To this day, it's cheaper to buy chicken from the man's chicken shop than a black-owned chicken shop. Sounds familiar, huh? Anyways, fried chicken is now being framed as a symptom of systemic neglect. Which, yeah, I guess. But there's so much history that one sentence erases. We shouldn't hate fried chicken. Everything in moderation, obviously. Fortunately, more black entrepreneurs are taking back fried chicken, but they have to compete with this shit. I usually leave these videos without a solution and just let you wallow in your depression. But this time, there are solutions. We can't use the master's tools to dismantle the master's house, though. Keep that in mind.
Read!
Solution number 1, look around for urban farming movements near you. Find out how you can help physically or monetarily. Option 2, if you got it like that or have a very active community, you can start non-profit communal vegetable gardens or farms and donate to those to get some tax deductions, Give your people employment and learn how to be self-sustaining. And number 3, decolonize your diet. Go to African stores, try some new grains, fruits, vegetables, become less dependent on white monopoly capital, and eat some good food. It's slow, it's hard, but it is necessary.